Nile Avenue. My name is Julie Nantaba Musisi, and we're excited to just be here with you this morning. Now, it's day 2 of the nomination process of the NRM candidates, kicked off yesterday, and some of those who are already in service but picked up nomination forms were Honorable Kahinda Otafire, Honorable Tayewa, Honorable Nabanja, Honorable Fiona Nyamtoro, Honorable, that is the second Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Moses Ali, who actually had to even take his nomination process from his vehicle so as to protect the vulnerable state of his health. But good morning. The election fever is increasing day by day. The different posters that are starting to come through all over social media, rather interesting. But indeed, one thing for sure is the season comes with the serious, with the information, but also with the light moments in there. Good morning, Uganda. It's UBC. I'm not alone. I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintano. Good morning, Robert.
Well, a lovely morning to you, Julie. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very fine.
We are almost sharing a color.
Great minds think together.
Interesting. I do agree. Right.
Now, there's something that is disturbing my mind.
What's that?
And you know, sometimes it has helped me know Uganda is a peaceful country.
Right. And
our President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, does all it takes to ensure that even in the region there is peace. Now, if you're following Israel and Iran, someone was doing exactly what you and me are doing.
Right.
And the national TV was blasted.
Right.
Just imagine you're on air reading, "Welcome to Good Morning Uganda."
Yep.
Through. I thought to myself, we wake up every morning, go to work without any fear of anything, come back. We have so much to thank Uganda, to thank God, and of course the people he's using in this government. Not to say that all is well, but that is when you appreciate. If you follow, yesterday I was almost useless because I spent the entire day on international media, following analyst after analyst, CNN. I was just playing with my remote.
Right.
I don't know why I wasn't taken so much by the Russian war, but I'm so taken by Iran and Israel. And following these events made me appreciate the peace we have, but also looking at numbers of people dying. Numbers of people dying. These missiles you shall hit. Now also Iran comes and says, oh, we've also earmarked a few TV stations, so tell the workers to go away because anytime we are hitting them in retaliation. So this is not very good.
Indeed, it's something that we need to appreciate. And you know why they say foundations are important? Because they are the determinant of the strength or weakness of a country. Thank God that our national anthem is actually a prayer. Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. Every time we sing it, we are praying. And yeah, here we are. We are not where we used to be. At least we celebrate peace. At least we celebrate hope. At least we know that we look forward to a future that is better than where we are. But peace is the fundamental that helps us.
Now, look at the nominations for NRM.
Right.
Who made your day?
Who made my day? 2 people. One was Honorable Moses Ali. Yes, having to take his nominations from his vehicle. He was in a really vulnerable state. And I keep on asking myself, he is human, he has his independence, he is an adult, obviously. But at the end of the day, there are people around you who need to protect you by hook or crook. They need to protect your image. And many times I'm thinking of his family, the people first that approach, that relate with him first, even before the rest of the world, primarily. I just keep on thinking what goes on through their minds every time they help him dress up, every time they help him get into the vehicle to do whatever in that vulnerable state. And yet leadership takes strength, leadership takes, carries a lot of stress with it. So yeah, that was a highlight. I just kept on having all those many questions. But the other, I think, on a lighter note, really lighter note, one that would even be relative, was Honorable Fiona Nyamtoro. Very young, energetic lady. I loved how she turned up for her nomination. And why I loved it is because she represents many of us as the young people in Uganda, as the youth. And her dress code was Mwah, love it, loved it. I'm a lady, so those are the things that really you look into the detail of everything. So for me, yeah, those were the two highlights on the end of Honorable Moses Ali, but also on the end of Honorable Fiona Nyamutoro. She really, really lit me up when I looked at her. Yeah, it was such a bright moment.
Now, for me, General Moses Ali, I think he's been around for some time.
He has.
Now a number of Ugandans, we are getting used to his health challenges. But of course, the people in his constituency will determine whether to let him go rest or to have him still serve them.
Right.
Now, for me, the person that made my day was General Otafire.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he made statements
Yes.
that were very pertinent and very, very important as we gear up 2026. One, he assured us he's not coming back after this term because he says he will have clocked 80, and he highly doubts that when you're 80, you're still productive.
Well,
According to him.
his statement was, well, he's not so sure if he'll contest or not, but at least at 80, you're not productive.
But when he said that there is the law of diminishing return,
Yes.
you're on the way. And
Right.
I've known General Tafile as a man who stands by his word, no matter what or what. So
Right.
wait. But also he mentioned very pertinent issues. And these included ensuring that we are tolerant as we go to 2026. He used the word provoking. NRM don't provoke the opposition. Opposition don't provoke NRM. The Uganda diaspora was okusosonkereza. Now there are some times where you say that this is really provocation. Anyone may be in good terms, but if you provoke them, you may cause them. So as we are heading to 2026, and of course we've decided with the elections for 2025, 2026, the special interest groups, so we're already following the national elections that have started. Now, if we are tolerant, if we each of us know our limits, then I'm sure we shall enjoy 2026 elections and the campaigns that have started. Tolerance. But also, in the NRM, I heard many, like the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, saying, please avoid election malpractices. Now remember, they are going in what they call the Kamyufu. So he was telling them, guys, we are coming, and I was like, geez.
Wow.
DP, for people in the DP, up to now, they are still not understanding what happened.
Yep,
Nope.
that's true.
NUP is a very wise party. I don't know how they come to, but who takes the ticket? You just hear about you or don't know.
Yes,
I don't know.
true.
NRM, Allah, wetulaga wano, wetaga mugumu.
Anyways, indeed, it's for the strong-hearted, but one thing for sure, stand by your ground, you know, and at the end of the day, let your country come first. Let your God, who gave you this country to steward, come first, and your country come first. But on that note, Robert, let's have a look at what is on the local scene.
Well, President Yoweri Museveni addressed Greater MPG region leaders as part of his area wealth creation visit. Now, at a meeting convened in Butambala district, Museveni reawakened the area leaders and challenged them to always share correct information to masses in regards to wealth creation. President Museveni ordered an investigation into Greater MPG district local government officials over allegations of asking for bribes for jobs. Also, to be investigated are the agricultural extension workers for failure to extend services to the farmers. Museveni's orders follow concerns raised by journalists from Greater MPG district, which include the districts of Mpigi, Gomba, and Butambala on the parish development model. The NRM party commenced the nomination process for members of parliament and district council seats. Prominent leaders, including the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja, Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayewa, Third Deputy Prime Minister Moses Ali, were among the first to be nominated. The NRM party started the nomination exercise very actively. Those who are nominated in the NRM party target to fulfill a number of things once entrusted with the party flag: avoiding violence in elections and abide by the party's principles were emphasized by NRM members to avoid disunity among party members. Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Taiwa cautioned party members against election malpractices during these party primaries. The aspirants held the Electoral Commission for the smooth process. The NRM Electoral Commission head, Dr. Tango Doe, urged participants to maintain integrity. This process will go on this week, and aspirants are urged to strengthen the support of NRM to the grassroots. Moving on, Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Aceng, has reaffirmed government's commitment to establishing regional heart centers to address the rising burden of cardiovascular diseases. She was addressing the second research dissemination conference in Kampala. At least 16,000 babies are born each year with congenital heart defects, which raises the burden of cardiovascular diseases. The recently concluded research by the Uganda Heart Institute defines the urgency of addressing the burden. The Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Aceng, emphasized research in improving cardiovascular care and reiterated the government's dedication to support the construction of a regional heart center to decentralize treatment and enhance access. The Executive Director of the Uganda Heart Institute, Dr. John Omanyino, called upon government to extend support to students pursuing careers in cardiovascular diseases treatment care to manage the increasing number of heart diseases. The Chairperson Board of Directors, Dr. James Magara, called for expanded investment in heart care services. And finally, from the local scene, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has appealed to Ugandans to ensure that there is deliberate funding towards child care and protection. The call was made during the National Day celebration for the African Child Day in Kamwenge district. The Day of the African Child dates back to 16th of June 1976, when the Soweto children in South Africa marched protesting the poor quality of education, demanding to be taught in their language. During the protest, many were killed. In Uganda, the Day of the African Child was commemorated in Kamwenge district on the theme Planning and Budgeting for Child Care and Protection in Uganda, Progress since 2010. The eve of the day was first marked by Children's Parliament at Kamwenge District Council, where children voiced concerns like early marriages, child labor, teenage pregnancies, and even access to practical teachings in rural areas as well. The concerns raised during the Children's Parliament were then presented to the Ministry of Gender on African Child Day celebration. The Minister for Gender, Betty Amongi, in a speech read for her by Kamwenge District Woman Member of Parliament, Flavia Kabahenda, put private schools on spot for not admitting disabled learners. Some of the supporting partners were UNESCO, BAUF, who were concerned on the rising cases of child neglect and abuse. Well, that brings us to the end of our local stories this morning.
Right, thank you, Robert. And moving on to what is on the foreign scene, we're starting off with Australia. Australia rules that effectively banned, Australia has effectively banned all sexually active gay and bisexual men from donating blood and plasma, and that ban has been lifted in Australia. Now, the rules originally introduced to decrease the risk of blood donations from groups with a higher chance of HIV exposure will begin being revoked from next month, following similar moves in the UK and US. However, under the changes, Australia will become the first country in the world to remove all sexual activity based on restrictions on plasma donation, and the National Blood Donation Service Lifeblood says. The new rules have been approved by the country's health products regulator and are estimated to expand the donation pool by 625,000 people. Lifeblood's chief medical officer, Joe Pink, in a statement said the changes are a significant milestone. Previously, any men or transgender women who had sex with men in the previous 3 months were banned from donating blood or plasma, as were sex workers and women who have sex with bisexual men. Interesting. Moving on, United Arab Emirates intense Israeli airstrikes targeted Iran's capital early on Wednesday, that is this morning, a day after U.S. President Donald Trump demanded unconditional surrender. As the U.S. sent warplanes to the Middle East, Trump made a series of statements about the conflict, including warning Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei that the U.S. knows where he is hiding, but there were no plans to kill him, at least not for now. His statements fueled confusion about the U.S.'s role in the conflict as Tehran residents flee their homes on the sixth day of Israel's air campaign aimed at Iran's military and nuclear program. Israel asserts its sweeping assault is necessary to prevent Iran from getting any closer to building an atomic weapon. The strikes have killed at least 224 people in Iran. Iran has retaliated by launching some 400 missiles and hundreds of drones at Israel. So far, 24 people have been killed in Israel. The conflict erupted as Israel continues to fight in. Now, coming to the motherland, Mali's military junta has started building a gold refinery in partnership with Russian conglomerate, the Yadran Group. The project would embody the West African nation's assertion of its economic sovereignty and ensure that the nation benefited from its mineral wealth. Military leader General Assimi Goita said he has strengthened military and economic ties with Russia since seizing power in a coup in 2021, while reducing relations with former colonial power France and other Western nations. This reflects a broader trend in the region, with neighboring Burkina Faso and Niger also pivoting towards Russia after the overthrow of civilian leaders. Western firms have since been facing a tough time, the latest example being Mali's decision to put a huge gold mine run by Canadian giant Barrick into administration, effectively bringing it under state control. On Monday, General Goita, along with the Yadran Group head Irek Salikov, attended a ceremony for the construction of the refinery, which will have a 200-ton capacity in Senu, not far from the capital, Bamako. Well, that marks it for what we have on the foreign scene today. Robert, what do we have in the dailies?
Oh, let's begin with the new vision this morning. Now, here, flying squad bus cattle theft gang. And that is, President gives new directives on security in the cattle corridor. That is a big headline in the new vision. But also, win big at Uganda's biggest bridal expo. Now, there's so much for the people in love there. Now, NRM set tough rules for SEC aspirants. Yes, the top organ of the party. Tough rules if you want to be part of the SEC in the NRM party. President Museveni advises households on wealth. And a picture there of President Yoweri Museveni, that was in MPG, hopefully. And now Iran accuses G7 of siding with Israel. Okay, has that shocked them anyway? And the Katanga trial, Mole's footage exiting crime scene missing. This is a case that is going on. There's so much.
It's one that has Agasirwe.
No, the Agasirwe is Joan Kagezi.
It's Joan Kagezi, yes.
Now here we are talking about Mole, who allegedly killed the husband.
Yes.
And this is a case in court. We wait and see. I don't know why you people, you fall in love, then things end that way. Now, let me quickly go through the daily monitor. Who shot them? A big question. Now, they remind you of AIGP, that is Andrew Felix Kawesi, who was by then the spokesperson, who was gunned down. Then Abiriga, who will forget the yellow man, Kano Ibrahim Abiriga. There is also Muhammad Kirumira, that was in 2019, and Isma Olex, former TikToker there. Who killed them is the question. Now, still looking at the Daily Monitor, scramble for political office in NRM, NUP, PPF, FDC, DF. Everyone wants to be a leader there. Why no one wants to buy Umeme stocks yet? Now, mapping out the conflict between Iran and Israel. And here the lizard has something to say. Church hands over land title to deceased woman's family. Now the lizard comes and says maybe God communicated directly. Well, those are some of the stories in the Daily Monitor this morning. But let Julie fly us to Kenya, and then by road we'll go to Tanzania.
Right. We are starting off with Kenya. Anarchy is the headline in the Daily Nation. Troubling partnership between police gangs revealed in day of chaos. And a picture there of the chaotic streets of Kenya. And flying all the way to Tanzania, how 60 trillion debt is squeezing East Africa. A mounting debt burden across East Africa is increasingly weighing down public finances, with latest statistics showing that citizens in Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda will collectively shoulder the equivalent of tens of trillions of Tanzanian shillings in debt servicing costs during the 2025-26 financial year. What awaits new MNH director? Also new Magufuli Bridge, a godsend to islet residents, and also MPs to government do this to collect 34 trillion shillings domestically. Also in there, Samia opens cotton factory, gives MP a tongue lashing. And in business, Cooperation, Tanzania, Zambia agree to boost ties on capital markets. And that marks the end of what we have in the dailies. You can buy yourself copies and get to know what detail is in each daily. But for now, today is a Wednesday, Robert. And usually Wednesdays we celebrate women, just as Mondays men are supposed to be celebrated.
But you forget on Monday. Now you've remembered on Wednesday.
And you'll be surprised that a man reminded me on a Wednesday.
Oh.
But who would be your woman crush Wednesday?
I think let me just look at a group of women.
Right.
You know, I always want to look at the law that no one notices very fast. I think I want to give it to the women that sweep our streets. Julie wake up early to come here.
Yes.
But are you aware that most of the times, those women are already cleaning the streets?
We meet them.
We meet them.
Yes, we usually
And it's not
meet
that they
them.
earn so much. And I was shocked when I discovered that most of these are widows and single mothers. They have a group I've forgotten the name. So kudos to you. No one may recognize you, but on UBC TV, Good Morning Uganda, we choose to recognize you. You're doing a very tremendous job. You walk through very many hardships. These are women that stay in not so very safe places. One was telling a story, walking through the golf course at 4, just to come and sweep.
Right, indeed, we do celebrate you, and we're cheering you on. Greater days are ahead of you. For now, let's have a short break and enjoy Hello from Adele. Good morning, Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is
Good morning, Uganda. It's UBC TV here to inspire you, coming to you live from Nile Avenue. My name is Julie Nantaba Musisi, and we're excited to just be here with you this morning. Now, it's day 2 of the nomination process of the NRM candidates, kicked off yesterday, and some of those who are already in service but picked up nomination forms were Honorable Kahinda Otafire, Honorable Tayewa, Honorable Nabanja, Honorable Fiona Nyamtoro, Honorable, that is the second Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Moses Ali, who actually had to even take his nomination process from his vehicle so as to protect the vulnerable state of his health. But good morning. The election fever is increasing day by day. The different posters that are starting to come through all over social media. Rather interesting, but indeed, one thing for sure is the season comes with the serious, with the information, but also with the light moments in there. Good morning, Uganda. It's UBC. I'm not alone. I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintano. Good morning, Robert.
Well, a lovely morning to you, Julie. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very fine.
We are almost sharing a color.
Great minds think together.
Interesting, I do agree. Right.
Now, there's something that is disturbing my mind.
What's that?
And you know, sometimes it has helped me know Uganda is a peaceful country.
Right.
And our President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, does all it takes to ensure that even in the region there is peace. Now, if you're following Israel and Iran, someone was doing exactly what you and me are doing.
Right.
And the national TV was blasted.
Right.
Just imagine you're on air reading, "Welcome to Good Morning Uganda."
Yep.
Through. I thought to myself, we wake up every morning, go to work without any fear of anything, come back. We have so much to thank Uganda, to thank God, and of course the people he's using in this government. Not to say that all is well, but that is when you appreciate. If you follow, yesterday I was almost useless because I spent the entire day on international media, following analysts after analysts, CNN. I was just playing with my remote.
Right.
I don't know why I wasn't taken so much by the Russian war, but I'm so taken by Iran and Israel. And following these events made me appreciate the peace we have, but also looking at numbers of people dying. Numbers of people dying. These missiles you shall hit. Now also Iran comes and says, oh, we've also earmarked a few TV stations, so tell the workers to go away because anytime we are hitting them in retaliation. So this is not very good.
Indeed, it's something that we need to appreciate. And you know why they say foundations are important? Because they are the determinant of the strength or weakness of a country. Thank God that our national anthem is actually a prayer. Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. Every time we sing it, we are praying. And yeah, here we are. We are not where we used to be. At least we celebrate peace. At least we celebrate hope. At least we know that we look forward to a future that is better than where we are. But peace is the fundamental that helps us.
Now, look at the nominations for NRM.
Right.
Who made your day?
Who
So
made
far?
my day? Two people. One was Honorable Moses Ali. Yes, having to take his nominations from his vehicle. He was in a really vulnerable state. And I keep on asking myself, he is human, he has his independence, he is an adult, obviously. But at the end of the day, there are people around you who need to protect you by hook or crook. They need to protect your image. And many times I'm thinking of his family, the people first that approach, that relate with him first, even before the rest of the world, primarily. I just keep on thinking what goes on through their minds every time they help him dress up, every time they help him get into the vehicle to do whatever in that vulnerable state. And yet leadership takes strength, leadership takes, carries a lot of stress with it. So yeah, that was a highlight. I just kept on having all those many questions. But the other, I think, on a lighter note, really lighter note, one that would even be relative, was Honorable Fiona Nyamtoro.
335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome back from that break. And if you are just joining us, welcome to the show. If you've been with us since the start, thank you for being on UBC TV, always here to inspire you. My name is Julie Nantaba Musisi. Time for The Real, where we get to engage in a conversation share our 2 cents, and sometimes with an expert who knows these things better than we do. Now, today in particular, we are having a conversation with Uganda National Association of Builders, Suppliers and Engineering Contractors. And particularly, we are looking at construction procurement and finance dialogue. Now, to do that with me is Mrs. Kiara Binta Nkuranga, and she is the president of the Uganda National Association of Builders, Suppliers and Engineering Contractors. Now, this association has an acronym, which is UNABSCEC. Usually we have pronunciation for acronyms, but I failed to have the pronunciation. And I think she'll tell us more when she tells us more about the Uganda National Association of Builders, Suppliers and Engineering Contractors. Good morning, President Kiara.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for bearing the early morning.
Like I said, I don't envy your job. Yeah.
Surely indeed, but tell us about the UNABSCE.
Actually, the acronym would be UNABSEC.
UNABSEC.
It's that easy,
okay,
yes.
Yeah,
but
when you're reading it,
also,
it sounds like it's a whole sentence, but
yeah,
it's that simple.
Yeah, the full is quite a mouthful.
Yeah.
But the acronym is easier, and
True.
we usually just call it UNABSEC. And I heard you say the CEC. That is not the breaking news.
Right.
We had a name change,
All right.
and it became SEC.
SEC.
Yeah, so we went from UNABSEC with a C to UNABSEC with an S, and that is how the suppliers became to be a part of us. Yes, so basically, UNABSEC is an association of builders, suppliers, and engineering contractors. We are a non-profit. We are non-partisan. We are member-driven association.
Right.
We currently have about 457 members, and it's growing. We've been around for over 30 years, for about 32 years, and we recently had a name change at our 30th anniversary because we felt that we had grown beyond just contractors, beyond just engineers. It had become an association really that brings together the entire construction industry. So we brought suppliers and individual builders on board. So we have been promoting compliance, professionalism and integrity in Uganda's construction sector. And as we know, the construction sector takes about 13% of our national GDP, and we employ over 7 million people.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I understand you have an upcoming event. Oh, tell us more about that.
Well, because we are a sector association that promotes policy change, we promote really having level playground for everyone in the sector. We usually have dialogues to be able to bring together stakeholders. And tomorrow, actually, we shall be having
so soon.
Oh yeah, we've been publicizing it for a while. So
Right.
today really is the final rallying call. So we believe this is the right platform
Right.
to rally the nation to be able to join us for the construction procurement and finance dialogue. And this will be at the 4 Points by Sheraton, starting at 8 to 5. It's an all-day event. And the exciting thing about this particular dialogue is that we are doing it in line with our line ministry, which is the Ministry of Transport and Works, because we realize within the sector that this is a timely conversation that we needed to have. So yes, we are happy to do that tomorrow. And it will be a high-level forum that will bring together key stakeholders from government, from the private sector, financial institutions, regulators, insurers. We want to discuss the challenges that are around procurement and financing within the construction sector.
Right. Why is it important, so important at such a time as this?
We believe that's, first of all, a really good question. The timing, the season, really, I don't even think it's about today, it's about tomorrow, but it's about the season, that we've been going through as an industry, as the construction sector. There are hard times, if I may call it, that contractors, suppliers within the construction sector have been going through, like delayed payments, and then because of the delayed payments, we've lost credibility with bankers, and then we become really a big risk, and then that limits our access to finances, and then the complexes that surround procurement. You see, construction is a capital-intensive venture once you get into it, and we begin spending money before we even make money, because the cycle of procurement is quite expensive. From the time you see a bid in the newspaper, you start spending. They say 100,000 sent to this, So the contractors, the suppliers to government, we begin spending money before we've made a coin. And then there's other requirements that are put on us, like the performance guarantees, then you need bid securities, all of those things. So by the time you get to begin to do the work, you are scraping from the bottom of your coffers, and then you need working capital to begin to then do the project. So we feel like we needed to have this conversation, because really that's a big pain point that contractors and people who have been supplying, government is our major employer. So if they delay to pay, and then the people who are supposed to support us, the bankers, are now jittery, they're looking at us as a liability, yet this money is not being spent on personal things. It is going into public procurement for public goods, for public services that are under the government. So this dialogue, therefore, is timely, because it provides a platform to be able to collectively address these issues, talk about them with policymakers, bankers, insurers, contractors, consultants, all in one open room, so that we can also then craft solutions. You know, even God says, come to me, bring your case, let us reason together. So true. We feel like, now let's sit down, let's reason together. Maybe there could be a solution. Bank of Uganda, they are the regulator in the sector. The Bankers Association, they will be there. Maybe together we can find a way, can we craft products that are specific to the construction sector? So we believe that it's very timely, but it's also very urgent. Last year we had a dialogue, and it was with the Uganda Revenue Authority, because also members were having pains and issues around the taxes and when it's collected, especially in light of the delayed payment. So VAT, you're being charged before you have even been received any money. So I really saw novel ideas coming up from that dialogue, because we came together and put minds together. You know, I had the suggestion like, well, URA is government, and my money is being owed by government. Why can't that notice go to the government and they just offset?
I know.
It's just you have my money, URA is offset, because we were all in one room. So I believe likewise tomorrow at this procurement and finance dialogue, novel ideas and solutions are going to come that perhaps you and me have not thought about, but when we bring our minds together, then we can begin to tackle and find common solutions.
Right. We are talking about construction procurement and finance dialogue, and it's with UNABSEC, that is the Ugandan National Association of Builders, Suppliers and Engineering Contractors, sitting in one room with all other stakeholders for an event that is due to take place tomorrow. What is the theme of the event?
Well, the theme of the event is unlocking sector growth through inclusive procurement and sustainable financing solutions. So we believe that inclusive procurement will also help us to be able to see growth sustained in the sector and also in Uganda as a whole. So we've seen in the region, their procurement systems, their procurement laws are more inclusive. Like not too long ago, I attended a conference by the TANROADS, which is like the UNRA of Tanzania, and I had in their preferential schemes, they were really comprehensive, and this is already enshrined in their law. So of course we know the women, we know the youth, but I heard of a special interest group of the elderly to be given preference during procurement. And this elderly, according to their law, is people who are aged 60 and above. So you can imagine in the context of Uganda, we are the second youngest nation in Africa. Right. So yes, there is a category of elderly people who should also perhaps be thought about in this inclusive procurement conversation.
Right.
So we think that this theme can help us to properly talk about the things that we need to talk about, procurement reforms and, you know, closing the capacity gaps. We'll look at the local contractor. Sometimes this procurement preferences, they shouldn't be looked at in a way like you'd say it's discrimination or it's segregation. It's really about protecting underrepresented groups. And then local contractors are sometimes underrepresented in the procurement system, and we want to see how can we protect this space and allow our local contractors to grow. For instance, again, I'll give an example in the region, Rwanda. Rwanda, in trying to protect not just local content, but also underrepresented who are women in construction, they have a scheme where road maintenance is specifically for women.
Right.
So if you're not a woman-led company, whatever their law defines that as, you cannot apply for road maintenance. So we want to see how can we use inclusive procurement to unlock growth within our sector, but also enforcement, because you will look at our laws and they're good laws. I will reiterate what is commonly thrown around, that the good laws and policies are made in Uganda, but they are implemented in Rwanda. So really, it's time that also we talk with the stakeholders, with the key policymakers. How do we go from paper to action? How do we actually see these reforms, these policies become useful to us in the sector in a tangible manner? So we also believe that out of this we can build useful relationships. Like I said earlier, bankers are now very jittery. Bankers look at people in construction and generally suppliers to government as a liability, because you cannot not pay for a year because you keep saying, they've not yet paid me, they've not yet paid me. And you see, the special thing about construction, as I said, our procurement system, is that even by contract, they will specify the period within which you should pay, which is usually about 28, 30 days, depending on what the contract says. So even the contractors, these suppliers, they will arrange their facilities that at the end of this period, 30 days, I will begin to pay my facility. And then month 1, you're not paid. Month 2, you're not paid. 6 months, you're not paid.
A whole year.
A whole year, you're not paid. So it begins to crumble. You cannot blame the financiers, the bankers. They're also running a business. They also have a bottom line. But we are saying maybe we can begin to build the relationships again. Maybe we can begin to build trust and confidence again. And one of the most affected, really, is our line ministry, the Ministry of Works, in terms of the delayed payments and, you know, money not being available to pay contractors. But we are thinking if we sit together, we can build trust between the regulators, the financiers, the contractors, and also we have PPDA. Maybe PPDA can give us some practical ways on how to you know, shorten the procurement cycle but still remain effective. Maybe they can give trainings on how to make a qualifying bid such that when you go through all that, put in all that money you put in, at the end of the day you actually get the project. So that is what we hope that this theme can help us to unpack, so that we can be able to move forward together.
You did hint on the fact that the Ministry of Works and Transport will be present at the dialogue. Are there any more representatives from the government?
Oh yes, there will be. Of course, our line minister is the Honorable Minister of Works and Transport, who is Honorable General Katumba Wamala. There will also be the Honorable Minister of State for Finance. We expect that Honorable Henry Musasizi will be with us. The PSST, also Mr. Ramadan Gobi, we expect that he will be joining us, because we also had a dialogue with them not too long ago when really the issue of delayed payments had become such a big deal that the Ministry of Finance invited contractors to have a conversation. And part of it really, we talked about also managing the procurement cycle from the side of government, from the side of the PDEs, the procuring and disposing entities, because at the tail end of procurement, there is a cycle, and which cycle should start with planning. That planning should be properly managed. The best part of planning is a budget. That budget should have a financing line. So by the time you roll out this procurement and the contractor puts in their money to bid, there should be money to pay them for the period that they have planned to do that project. So of course we'll have the PS for Ministry of Works and Transport, Mr. Bagea Waiswa. We hope that the Governor of Bank of Uganda, as the key regulator in this sector of finance and banking facilities, will join us. And we hope the Executive Director of PPDA will also be with us, plus heads of the PDEs and from government, parastatals, Ministry of Education, from water, from KCCA, because these are the people who give us the projects. Yeah, they're the employers sometimes on behalf of government. So it's going to be all encompassing. So we expect that the key people will be in the room so that the decisions we make can be binding. The decisions that we make cannot end in the dialogue room. Again, I'll refer to the paper. No, not the paper. Yeah. The event we had in Tanzania. So they needed someone to answer again in relation to taxation. So there was a young man who came and he was speaking, and the questions from the audience, he could not answer them, and the audience refused him to speak. And they said, this is not a decision maker. This is a conference, a platform where we make binding decisions, and they are minuted for government to work on because it was a government event. So why would they send us someone who cannot make a binding decision? And they refused him to speak. So it will not be so in our case. We want to have the right people in the room to have the right conversations, and then therefore come up with binding solutions that we can all act on. So I believe that this presence of the government agencies and the ministries, it really shows the government's readiness to listen to us as the people in the construction sector and industry, and also to act on the issues that are affecting us, that have affected us for long. Also, I must add that even the birthing of this really was a joint effort between UNAPSEC and the Ministry of Work. So they asked that we need to have this dialogue, because as the ministry, they also meet the contractors, they meet the stakeholders, and they hear. So they're like, UNAPSEC as the sector association, let's in conjunction have this sit down.
Right. Who's invited? Is anyone open to attending?
You are also invited. Yeah, because you're a stakeholder. Concerned citizens are invited. Yeah, but it is open. All sector players are welcome, right from the contractors, the suppliers of building materials, consultants, financial institutions, insurers, procurement professionals, policymakers, all the members of UNAPSEC, potential members of UNAPSEC. Really, it's open. All are free to attend, because, as I said, the things we do, we make public services, public goods, and anybody really interested in hearing where this conversation will end would be welcome. But I particularly appeal to the people within the construction and infrastructure sector to come and join us for this dialogue, which will be tomorrow. We've been publicizing in many ways, but this is my final rallying call as the president of the association, and I ask you to come and attend. As members of UNAPSEC, you know you have free entry and free access to our events, and every other well-wisher is welcome to attend at a minimal fee of 200,000 shillings, because we believe that there will be value addition to whoever attends. And of course, there's prior registration. But
yes,
I
wanted to actually ask you, how does one get to register to be able
well,
to
you
attend?
can get to the UNAPSEC website, which is really www.unapsec.co.ug, and you will find all the information there. You will fill a form which can then allow you to, the payment options are also there that you can use to pay this 200,000 shillings. But we also have sponsors, so if you're interested in having your logo especially if you're in this sector, you're a banker, you're an insurer, you're a contractor, where all stakeholders are going to be sitting under one umbrella. You want brand presence. You can be a sponsor. The packages are on our website as well. And I think, if I remember offhand, it should be about 2 million shillings for an exhibitor or a sponsor. And you will have visibility at this event where there are key stakeholders in the sector. And you can also then exhibit your products, your machines, whatever it is. You're even a banker, they can bring their flyers.
Products,
so yes, there's an opportunity to sponsor as well and have visibility. All that information is on our website. But then the networking, really, you had the list of the big shots that are going to be in the room. So if you're in the sector, maybe this is that opportunity to rub shoulders with them, but also to ask them directly. What I love about these dialogues, I get out of the way. I'm out of the line of fire. I'm like, you people, you've been on us as the association now.
Yeah, please
have a chance to ask the PSST, have a chance to ask the Minister of Works, have a chance to ask PPDA directly, so that you speak directly. We are just facilitating the conversation. So yes, come and be a part of this dialogue tomorrow that we believe will transform the face of procurement and financing in the construction sector.
Right, that is Mrs. Kiara Bintankuranga, and she is the president of UNABSEC. What would be your parting shots? Any final message to the viewer?
I would want that we have a clear understanding of the challenges around procurement and finance in the construction industry. I hope that from there we can have concrete proposals on reform and sector improvement. I hope we can build stronger relationships between contractors, bankers, insurers, and regulators on the side of government. I hope that trust can be rebuilt. Because, as I said earlier, bankers, insurers, they're also running businesses. And sometimes you can't keep saying, they've not paid me, they've not paid me. Somebody begins to lose trust. They think maybe contractors, they're eating our money, they're buying cars. And yet, honestly, they have not been paid. And
before you know it, you're labeled.
You are
the
labeled.
Industry is labeled a certain way.
I'll give you an example, a funny example at my workplace. So, of course, I work for a contractor as well. And so, this person comes, one of our suppliers, unpaid for many months. He comes to my office with another person, obviously agitated. I'm wondering what is going on. How am I going to handle these people? So they sit down, and then he's like, Madam, please help me to explain to this gentleman that I have actually not been paid, that you have not paid me. Because I've been telling him for the past 6 months, and he cannot believe it. I said, today I'm taking you to the contractor's office, and they explain to you. And I honestly had to sit the gentleman down and say, he's right. What he's going through, we are going through. We've not been paid for even longer than him. And so, honestly, listen to him. So that built trust again. That person could now believe this gentleman, because he thought, they paid you a long time, you ate my money. So I hope that we can improve those relationships and improve competitiveness between the sector, the players in the sector, the different contracting companies, international and local as well, and also improve compliance.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kiara Bintankuranga. She is the president of UNABSEC, and UNABSEC is Uganda National Association of Builders, Suppliers and Engineering Contractors. The event is tomorrow at 4 Points, Sheraton 4 Points, so be there starting 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. where a dialogue on construction procurement and finance will be held with all stakeholders in the room. So be there tomorrow and get a lot out of it on the way forward. That's it from today's Real On Good Morning Uganda. Up next is JMU Tourism Express. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Okwongera okuyiga ebikwata ku musolo n'okubisembereza abagusasula. Bannayuganda bangi balina ebibuuzo ebikwata ku musolo gwe basasula eri ekitongole ekiwooza KURA.
Na kapitalu ya mitwalo 5
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear Chitenge at 10,000.
Alikuwa nafika kwa mwingine URA na kurespect lazima mzee tuongee. Munaongee. Hakuna fika kwa mwingine na kamata file yako naweka kwa drawer na
okutegeera obukulu bw'okusasula omusolo busobola okuyamba okuzza bizinesi yo n'okwewala okufiirizibwanga. Kati osobola okufuna okuddibwamu obutereevu. Sindika ebibuuzo ebikwata ku musolo ng'oweereza obubaka bw'obutereevu ne WhatsApp ku nnamba y'essimu 0790 14 18 87 olwo ofuna okuddibwamu okuva wa kamisona General wa URA John Musinguzi. Laba amawulire gaffe UBC leero buli lwa bbalaza n'olwokusatu ofuna okunnyonnyola okulambulukufu okuva ew'omukenkufu. Buuza kamisona.
Uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, and once again, thank you for joining UBC. We are on Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express. My name is Zakia Lucky. This morning, we are right into one of Uganda's most fascinating treasures, Mugahinga National Park. And this has a slogan that goes, "Where gold meets silver." It's one of the activities that we are just yet to lead into, golden monkey tracking, and you will get to see what Mugahinga National Park has to offer in regards to the slogan and so much more. So stick around. With us is the team, and I can tell you it's more than what you should expect because it's extremely beautiful. As we get into the journey, just get yourself seated and be ready to watch what we have to offer. We are going to be moving with Mr. Martin, who is the ranger guide at Mugahinga National Park, and he's going to be taking us through. I can tell you I'm more than excited. I have just heard so much about it. So let's get to dive into what is in the national park. Stick around. Yeah, so I was asking, is there like a waterfall in here?
Waterfall in some of the waterfallings we have here. We have got seasonal streams.
Seasonal streams?
Yes. We have got Ntebeko River. That is a seasonal stream. During dry season, you find it filled with water. But during the dry season, you find when water has drawn off, there is no water at all. Yeah.
So you said these monkeys have families?
Yes.
How many families do they have?
So far we have got 2 troops of golden monkeys here.
Okay.
We have got one, which we are visiting today. It's called Kasinje. It is one family has gone through habituation. Habituation, that is the process which we do take in order to get them used with us humans. Yeah, so this one which we are visiting today is fully used with people. And we have got another one which is still undergoing habituation. And some people usually choose to go for habituation experience. You spend with them 4 hours.
When you say habituation experience, what do you mean by that?
Habituation experience, that is the process which we do undertake for the golden monkeys to get used to us humans. Usually, what we always do, we need to first allocate the family of the individuals. And then later on, we consider the home ranges. We start monitoring them, considering the home ranges, where they do fit from, where they can reach, where they cannot exceed. Then after knowing that this is the home range of this family, then later on, we shall keep following them each and every morning so that they can get used to us. At first, you can allocate them from a distance. Of course, the time you use is the more time they get used, because a habituation experience usually takes about 2.5 years.
Okay.
That is when they get fully used with. Yeah.
You said families.
Yes.
Do you mean how do you get to term it as a family? Does it have to be like a couple? And you know, okay, I'm putting it into the human.
Yes, please.
Yes. Is it a husband and wife, the monkeys, or it has to have kids for it to be a family, or is it supposed to be just one monkey to have a family, like a name, until it gets its partner?
Usually, golden monkeys, they fall under the other apes, and it cannot be one to be called a family. It needs to be a large troop. That is how we recognize it as a family. But we have got some other individuals which do live solitary lives. So in order for it to be called a family, it must be having more than 10 members. So when it is under 10, we call that one solitary live family, solitary live golden monkeys. They are there. Let's say the way you saw golden monkey, gorillas, if you have ever seen gorillas, they have also got the leadership hierarchy. Yeah, we have got the leadership hierarchy, whereby we have the silverback. That is the one that led the family. But it is not the same case with golden monkeys, whereby we shall be able to see some dominant males, alpha males, which are taking care of that family.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So where we are right now, we are a few meters to the golden monkeys. We shall be with them for 1 hour, and we are going to take our preparations from here. And within that 1 hour, we shall not be able to drink, we shall not be able to eat, and we shall not be allowed to smoke, maybe to some who smoke. We are going to take our preparations from here. Get your masks ready. Walking sticks will remain behind. And if you feel you need to have anything, you will tell me, and then maybe you come back for it. But in golden monkey tracking, flash photographies are not allowed. You will be able to put off your flash, and then we shall be able to go for viewing. Thank you.
This is just the very entrance that we took as we headed into the wilderness, and it is the exit where I'm standing as you enter from trekking golden monkeys. I can tell you it was a very great experience. You get to learn so much more, and I did conquer 7 kilometers of trekking. That was a to and fro. Good enough we managed to get the golden monkeys on time. And if you are there wondering if you could take it on, I mean you can, because the mountain just goes for 3,474 meters. Yes, and just know the entire forest. If you want to know how big the national park itself is 33.7. I am a born of this particular region, and if you are wondering, I'm telling you, this is more than just a mere experience. Most of you have heard so much about Mugahinga, but it is today that I actually get to know that this is Mount Gahinga. And if you want to understand today the difference between Mount Muhabura and Gahinga, these are just 2 mountains, without forgetting Sabinyo. When you get to this town, you get to see 3 mountains. Mountain Muhabura, you get to see Mount Gahinga, and then Sabinyo. Now, where you get to have the passport of being in 3 countries without having to fly, still is after you get to Sabinyo that you get to see Rwanda, you're in Uganda, and then DRC Congo. When we get inside the wilderness, so much birds to watch, so many animals to watch. And when you get to the golden monkeys themselves, it's just a very fascinating experience. I can tell you, looking at how they just relate just like humans, eating and the playfulness and how, close they are to each other, the families, it's all that you would want to see. Without forgetting, we just got stories about them on how they bury. They're just like humans, and I think it is an experience that you would want to also have. So when you get to visit the Southwest, get to come to Mugahinga National Park.
Uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome back from that visual trip of Mugahinga National Park, but also Mount Mugahinga, Muhavura, and Sabinyo. I have visited this place before. Time I went to Kisoro, and oh my, Uganda is blessed. One of the unique factors that I took note of whilst I visited Kisoro is the fact that usually in Kampala when it's cold, there are these allergies where you get to react to the weather. But in Kisoro, for as long as I was there, and it was not just one day, it was a couple of days, a number of days, I never reacted to any kind of coldness. Yet Kisoro is very cold. That shows you how clean the air that side is. I wish it would be for Uganda, for Kampala. But let's do better in terms of preserving and preserving our environment. But it's time for GMU Business. My name is Julie Nantabamusisi, and we're starting off with matters budget to business. Government plans to grow the economy by tenfold in a period of 15 years in the 2025-26 national budget. During a high-level dialogue on budget to business organized by CSBAG, it was noted that government has good intentions on economic development, but fiscal indiscipline is a major bottleneck. Now, this plan focuses on four key sectors: agro-industrialization, tourism development, mineral development, and science and technology. At the invitation of the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, CSBAG, stakeholders have held a dialogue to analyze fiscal reforms that can unlock trade and investment opportunities in Uganda, but on government's plan of growing the economy from $50 billion to $500 billion in the next 15 years, economists have advised a deliberate investment in commercial diplomacy. The Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, CSBAG, has launched the Business Linkages and Investment Connections Program, BLINK, to lessen the cost of doing business in Uganda. Also, in the 2025-26 budget, government targets increasing exports from 12% to 50% of the GDP by 2040, a dream that experts say is within reach if only the country ensured fiscal discipline and improved budget execution. Now, speaking of discipline and indiscipline, I did follow the dialogue yesterday, this particular dialogue of CS bag and budget to business. And one of the key highlights that stood out for me was the fact that as Ugandans, we lack the discipline to package what we supply outside of Uganda. Examples given were how we transport our cassava from the garden into the supermarkets in Dubai with soil on the cassava. That is quite unrepresenting and misrepresenting at that, meaning that a Ugandan product will be bought for cheap because it's presented in the worst way possible. Little wonder sometimes our maize or some of our products are neglected by our neighbors in Kenya. I think we should do better, even with the simple things. Excellence is key, because in the long run, it's where the increase in the economy is noticed in the long run. Now, moving on, looking at the Science Week, Uganda will establish a high-tech city within the Kampala metropolitan area to create innovative technology whilst attracting high-tech solutions within creators. The Superintendent Industrial Value Chains Development at the Science, Innovation and Technology Secretariat, Cosmas Mwikinze, says the resurgence of innovations and innovators in the country is booming the economy. Uganda is planning to create a $500 billion US economy to foster growth, focusing on agro-industrialization, science, innovation, and technology. Uganda has embraced science, innovation, and technology to equip themselves with knowledge about the science and innovation revolution in the country. Creators have invented high-tech solutions through AI, among other programs, which enable various sectors to boost their businesses. Uganda seems to have highly qualified innovators on high-tech products on the market. Speaking to innovators from Wama Aero Innovations and Bwera Innovators Limited, call for government intervention. Other participants in the expo shared their thoughts, calling for increased awareness on the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. And the 5-day Science and Innovation Week at Kololo Independence Grounds is on the theme, Made in Uganda, Innovation to Market. Now, moving on, the Minister of State for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Fred Bwino Chakulanga, has officially announced the 2025 vanilla harvest season, which will run from 18th June to 18th September. He was addressing the media at the Uganda Media Center, where he urged farmers to harvest only mature vanilla. Uganda is the second largest producer of vanilla, competing with Madagascar for the title of Africa's top exporter. The country's vanilla industry has been growing rapidly, with farmers in Kasese, Toroko, Bundibujo, Masaka, Rakai, and Kayunga leading producers. Now, moving on, after 24 years of having no bank in its name, the Uganda Cooperative Alliance finally revives a bank to serve its people. Now, according to Ivan Asimwe, CPA, the General Secretary at the Uganda Cooperatives Alliance, the formation of this bank is meant to finally help smallholder farmers and SMEs. The last time Uganda Cooperative Alliance had a bank to their name was in the year 1999. Ivan Asimwe is enthusiastic that the long wait is finally over, and as smallholder farmers can now easily access financial help. The cooperative bank will begin at Tier 4 as a mini financial body, and according to the administrators, it will slowly be elevated to the level of other banks. Cooperative representatives from the different regions in Uganda expressed their expectation with the bank's creation. Uganda Cooperative Alliance injected 12 million Uganda shillings towards the bank. Indeed, congratulations to Uganda Cooperatives Alliance. It's a story, it's something that CPA Ivan once upon a time shared here, as was asked by you, the viewer, and in the shortest time possible, it has been delivered. So I believe this is good news, worth a celebration. But for now, let's have a look at what is with the Forex rates today. As of 17th June 2025, the US dollar opened and was buying at 3,594.50, dropped a bit of value there. But by midday, it was at 3,593.23 and was selling at 3,603.23. It closed in at 3,594.09, got its original opening fee, that is 3,594.09, and selling at 3,604.09. And now looking at the British pound, also did drop a bit of value there from the previous rate. It was buying at 4,875.74 and selling at 4,889.30. The euro was buying at 4,153.68 and selling at 4,165.24. The Kenyan shilling still at 27.81 and selling at 27.89. And the Tanzanian shilling at 1.38 and selling at 1.38 as well. The South African rand picking up again at 201.60 and selling at 202.16. And that's it from today's GMU business segment. Up next is the agenda. It's Wednesday, and we're having a conversation on cooperatives as we look forward to celebrating International Cooperatives Day. Good morning, Uganda. So stick around and wait on the conversation on the agenda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know. You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
Okwongera okuyiga ebikwata ku musolo n'okubisembereza abagusasula. Bannayuganda bangi balina ebibuuzo ebikwata ku musolo gwe basasula eri ekitongole ekiwooza URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear Chitenge at 10,000.
Alikuwa fika kwa mwingine URA na kurespect lazima mzee tuongee. Munaongea. Hakuna fika kwa mwingine na kamata faili yako na kwa drawer na.
Okutegeera obukulu bw'okusasula omusolo busobola okuyamba okuzza bizinesi yo n'okwewala okufiirizibwanga. Kati osobola okufuna okuddibwamu obutereevu. sindika ebibuuzo ebikwata ku musolo ng'oweereza obubaka bw'obutereevu ne whatsapp ku nnamba y'essimu noti 7 noti 148887 olwo ofuna okuddibwamu okuva wakamisona General URA John Musinguzi. Laba amawulire gaffe UBC leero buli lwa bbalaza n'olwokusatu ofune okunnyonnyola okulambulukufu okuva ew'omukenkufu. Buuza kamisona.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the Rider Selection Campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll-free 0800-335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso, every Wednesday live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Nebaza President Museveni okusingira ddala eyaleeta omwoga kubanga ffe omwoga twali tetugutegeera okubanga yatuyamba mu mbeera embi gye twalimu naddala ffe abavubi kubanga ffe twali baatugaana okukoola okugenda ku mazzi nga bw'omanyi abavubi batugamba nti ennyanja tesenguka sente tezaatumala mu covid baasanga tuli bakalu bulungi naye muzeeyi n'alagira batuwe era ne tukola essaako mu sipiidi ne tuteekamu ssente ne batuteekamu ssente baatuwa miliyoni 3 zaatuukira mu budde ate twali bamaze okutukkiriza ffe abatunda ebyokulya okuddamu okukola ki okukola ne tuziwola abantu ne basuubula ebyennyanja ne bakola ne bazizza ne tuwa abalala nabo ne bakola ne bazizza ne tukolera ddala bulungi bammemba okutandikira ddala twali bammemba 125 kati ng'essente ezo miliyoni 3 tetusobola zigabira bantu mulundi gumu twagendanga tulondamu abayinamu sevingi waabwe awera nga nabano bwe bagenda bakula sevingi waabwe nga bwakula kati bwe wazzanga era nga tukuddiza akakadde ezoleese nga amagoba tuwa bano abalala abaali bataafuna ne tukolera ddala bulungi ku miliyoni 3 amagoba tuli mu bukadde 100 abantu bano balabanga abamu abaana abato naye balina famire zaabwe balina abaana be balabirira balina bazadde baabwe era kati olwaleero bwe ntunuulira abasuubuzi bange balina kye beeyongeddeko kinene kati olwaleero ensawo nsanyufu abaana basoma famire zaabwe bazirabirira ne bazadde baabwe nange abakulembera ndabawo enjawulo ku bantu bange era nkubiriza abalala bammemba abalala abatannayingira bajje nabo babeere bulungi basobole okwekulaakulanya enkulaakulana ya buli muntu tetusosola tetuteekamu byabufuzi tetuteekamu kkala jangu nga bw'oli ng'ozze kkola emyoga nze ginkoze bulungi era nali sirina naye kaakati ndi bulungi sobola okusuubula ebyennyanja nenteekawo abaana ne batunda nenfuna amagoba ebyennyanja bino tuyina abakozi ba mirundi ng'ena bwe bimala okuva mu mazzi ne bituuka wano ku mmeeza tuyina gye tukubikolokotera oyo n'akolokota n'akyoza bulungi n'akikwasa ow'effumbiro. Weffumbiro bw'oba oyagala akabeero ne batematema ne bateekamu obummonde n'amatooke ne bakuteera ku lusiniya. Bw'oba oyagala kisiike era mu ffumbiro ne bakisiika ne bakireeta. Omwana oli afuna ssente, kyembaga sente z'emyoga tezaaliisa mudaala guno gwokka. Omwana oli akolokota yafunangako, n'ali mu ffumbiro akifumba naye n'afunako, ne nannyini kifo naye n'afunako, n'ow'omudaala n'afunako. Abo bantu ababa bayimiridde ku ssente ze tuwadde mmemba omu ziwanirira abantu bangi, famire nnyingi, kubanga omwana oli akolokota si mwana muto, sajja mukulu alina omukazi alina n'abaana. Omukyala ali mu ffumbiro asiika oba omuvubuka asiika naye alina omukazi n'abaana, naye bonna bali ku kakadde k'ennawoono.
Nze basooka kumpa miliyoni emu, then bwe namaliza n'enzirayo ne bampaayo looni endala era nayo nenkola sofa kati kye naakafunawo nayongerako ku bizinensi yange kuba luli nalinga nkozesa emitwalo 5 nga sinaba kujoyininga myoga ate nga n'ezimu tuzeewola weewoza okuva mu bubiina okuva kale mu bamanelinda kati nsobola okubeera nga nkozesa miliyoni emu kitundu, kitegeeza neeyongerako ku nfuna yange ate n'ekitaaliwo luli sofa kati emyoga bwe jajja jakuliyetingawo kaluca y'okubeera nga tusevinga nga ffe bammemba ne mu bavubuka ate n'okubeera nga tukola ne tubeera nga tufuna ssente tusevinga nga bwe tukola ate nga bwe tusasula looni bw'oba nga weewola looni mu myoga. N'ebirala ebyenfunyemu nga nze sofa kati natandikako kubeera nga nsasula kataka kange, ekyo kirungi nnyo kyansanyusa nnyo naye nga nsasula mu kibanja mpola. Nsuubira mu mwaka ogujja nja kukamalayo, kyekyo kye neenyumirizaamu ate nga ne muzeeyi atukubiriza nnyo kubeera nga tusevinga. Tujja kukulaakulanya eggwanga n'ekonomi kubanga batusomesa nnyo mu myoga tubeere nga tulina saving culture eyo. Kitegeeza abantu bwe basevinga ennyo bajja kubeera nga bafuna saving, bw'osevinga n'ofuna ssente you invest. Kitegeeza tujja kubeera nga tufuna bala ku investor tuve ku bayindi, kijja kuba kitukoledde.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Always for choosing UBC TV. Time for the agenda where we have a conversation with experts to speak into it. And as every Wednesday, we always have conversations on cooperatives in Uganda. Now, starting off with good news. Today is rather a good day, a day of a lot of good news, because we are looking at celebrating the International Day of Cooperatives. But on top of it, we are celebrating the fact that after 24 years of having no bank in its name, the Uganda Cooperatives Alliance finally revives a bank to serve its people. And it's one thing to look forward to as how it will pan out, but at least it's here. CPA Ivan was here a couple of weeks ago and answered the question that the bank is in the process. We're working so hard behind the scenes, and it looked like it would stretch, but in the shortest time possible, the bank is here. And he is our usual suspect, CPA Ivan Asimwe, the General Secretary of UCA. He is in studio with us, but also alongside Justin Kayinza, who is the Head of Partnerships at the UCA. Once again to the UCA, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Thank you. And also still the fact that we are going to soon, in the month of July, we're going to celebrate the International Day of Cooperatives. It's still a congratulations, congratulations. Good morning, CPA Ivan.
Good morning, Judy. Happy to be here. Good morning, all our viewers, like you are saying.
Yes.
I'm very happy today.
Good morning, Justin.
Julie and our dear viewers.
Thank you both for being here.
Well,
thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
So CPA, you're that person who has been speaking into the bank, and I'll start with you to just say in a minute.
Thank you so much. I'm really very glad to be here today.
Right.
And I want to begin by appreciating UBC for always giving us such an opportunity to come, share, educate, learn cooperatives in this country.
Right.
I am extremely happy today that finally we have our bank,
yes,
a cooperative bank. And we are not starting calling ourselves a bank. No, we said no. Let us start the way Kenya started. 1966, Kenya started. Their cooperative bank of today was started as a cooperative society in 1966. 10 years later, 1977, that is when they got a license to operate a bank. But for us, we are not waiting for that time. What we wanted was to start. I'm very glad to inform all Ugandans that finally, after years of lamentations, years of planning, yesterday, we start. Can you believe people contributed money? Over 50 million yesterday, just alone, without even going outside.
Right.
That shows the appetite of Ugandans for the bank. And I'm so happy. I want to inform all Ugandans that finally we have our bank in the name of the National Financial Cooperative Society, which is now going to transform after we have raised the minimum capital. We will go immediately and have it as an MDI, and then from there, we have it as a commercial bank. Those are the procedures. You don't just start like a bank.
Right.
You have to go through processes, but what we wanted was to start, and we have started. We have already mobilized the money, and we are there to move. I want to thank the government, first of all, because this one is already embedded in the law. So whatever we are doing is not outside the law, but rather we are actualizing it. It is section 49 of the Cooperative Societies Act, Cap 107, which states that Part A, that there shall be a cooperative bank to handle the businesses of the cooperative societies. And the Part B, this bank shall be supervised and monitored by Bank of Uganda. It's a law.
Right.
Now, in addition to that, Cabinet approved the decision. This is why I'm appreciative to government, one, for the law, second, for Cabinet to approve this. So instead, we have been delaying. But we were appointed on the committee, which is the steering committee, and we have been having a series of meetings. I chair this committee as the overall chairperson, and I want to appreciate my committee that finally we have achieved what we have been dreaming of. I want to call upon all Ugandans. Let's, especially circles, unions, area cooperative enterprises, because these are the shareholders. it will be purely owned by shareholders, but serving the entire country.
Right.
So I want to call upon all these cooperative societies outside there, let's contribute, let's capitalize our bank, because finally we have a baby born. Thank you.
Right. Now coming to you, Justine, let's talk about the other good news, the fact that we are celebrating the International Day of Cooperatives very soon.
Yes.
What exactly is it about the International Day of Cooperatives?
Thank you so much. The International Day of Cooperatives is a day that we celebrate globally as cooperators. We celebrate it every first Saturday of July. And this year it's going to be celebrated on 5th July in Fort Portal Tourism City. So the people of Fort Portal are looking forward to hosting us. The event is organized by the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. UCA is the chief mobilizer. And our hosts for this year, we have Toro Diary and Busaiga Sako. Under this year's celebrations, the theme is cooperatives, inclusive and sustainable solutions for a better future. Like cooperatives are a solution to inclusive and sustainable solutions for a better future. And what is unique about this year, this is the International Year of Cooperatives globally. Congratulations to our cooperators, because you're already registering milestones. The General Secretary talked about the Cooperative Bank. This is a good initiative. Cooperators will be able to access affordable and accessible and affordable financing for our enterprises. So as we celebrate the International Year of Cooperatives, which is also celebrated globally, we are saying cooperatives build a better world. Right. How are we building it? So we have a series of events, which I'll walk through later, but the day is going to be celebrated in Fort Portal City. Toro Day, Saiga Sako are our local hosts, and as UCA, we are doing the mobilization. So we call upon all cooperators that this year, all roads lead to the Fort Portal Tourism City. Let's meet there. Let's showcase what we have been doing as cooperators. It's a time to show the world that cooperatives are indeed the avenue we need to build our country and to improve our incomes.
Right, and because it's a Saturday, that means it gives you time to plan and travel to Fort Portal City to celebrate this day. CPA, share the significance of this day to Uganda's economic and social development.
Oh, thank you so much, and so wonderful. Like Justin has said, this year we are celebrating.
Right.
And we are not only celebrating, but even UN recognizes this year as the year for cooperatives. That shows the significance of cooperatives in socio-economic transformation. I really want to tell the viewers there that there is no magic. I've been talking about this. We have studied economics. We have studied finance. I'm a chartered accountant.
Right.
There is no magic, there is no witchcraft that we are going to use to develop our economy, especially Uganda, to develop Africa, when people are still working individually, because there is a high level of exploitation. Take an example, Julie. I don't know whether you're a farmer. I don't know.
Not
maybe
yet.
If your garden is
But
inside
I'm
here.
for it.
But assuming you're a coffee farmer,
Yes.
there is no way, Julie, you as an individual growing a coffee, you are going to maintain quality and quantity, and then you process your own coffee and export it and get a fair price. It's not there. But these capitalists, for them, they have money, they have the resources, whatever it takes, to come and buy coffee from the smallholder farmers, aggregate it, add value, and make more money. Can you imagine?
Right.
I am in the village, I am suffering with my coffee, from planting to harvesting up to the market. The buyer is at this time now enjoying, he's at the beach. He's enjoying my suffering. He's just waiting for me to harvest. And remember, we are all created by the same God. We all went to school. But me, I did geography. The geography, which geography? Tennessee Valley, St. Lawrence Seaway, Canadian Prairies. I did history, French Revolution, such things. Those ones don't help me at all in terms of economic growth. I need to know that you touch here and make money. Why do we go to school? We don't go to school to speak English. We go to school to get knowledge and skills and make money, develop our economies. So any education that does not lead us to that point is not worth education. You get me?
Yes.
So the other people, for them, their education is different. In Europe, in America, the education is how do you make money? How do you go to Africa? You make money, you get minerals, you get coffee, you get cotton, you get this, and make money and develop Europe. But for us, ours is to remember who discovered the River Nile, so and so. You mean there were no Ugandans? Who discovered Mount Rwenzori? You mean Wakonjo were not there?
They were there.
Who discovered Lake Victoria? You mean Uganda were not there? They were already fishing.
Right.
So they are not people. You mean they had never seen this lake when they are fishing there? So the only liberator is the cooperative model. Because once we study the cooperative model, forget about these ones to waste our time. You study the cooperative model, it first of all brings people together, to love each other, to work as a team, to trust each other. Once you come together, you now see the opportunity. If it is about coffee, we can, as farmers, grow our coffee and even add value and make more money. So that instead of exporting raw coffee, we export a finished product. Instead of importing Nescafe here, we rather export a finished product and Ugandans make more money. And we construct roads and everything. Instead of exporting raw cotton, I can ask a question here. How many of us are putting on cotton? Cotton attire. But aren't we growing cotton? So we are growing cotton for who? The other people who are taking our cotton, they are putting on cotton because cotton is good. For us, we are running to Owino to buy mivumba for the dead. So you imagine, you ask yourself, you have a degree, you have a master's, you have a PhD. What is it for that you cannot use it to develop this country? So the only solution is the cooperative model. And it works very well. You go to America, you go to Europe. I want to give an example. Do you know that the largest financial cooperative, the first and second, are all in France? Do you know that Rabobank Foundation is a cooperative in Netherlands? You go to our neighbors in Kenya, the largest cooperative bank in Africa is in Kenya, which started in 1966. Now, sorry, our neighbors in Tanzania, on the 28th of April 2025, Her Excellency the President launched the National Cooperative Bank of Tanzania. They merged the two, Kilimanjaro and the other one. And they have now, why are they doing this? They have seen the benefits of cooperation. Right. And this is why we are now celebrating globally. And this is why UN recognizes cooperatives as a pillar for socio-economic. And with it, there is inclusive and sustainability, which is lacking in capitalism. Because capitalism will not consider you, Julie. Capitalism, I have started my company. I want to process coffee, for example. My interest is not to develop you. My interest is to get your coffee, I make money. I drive a Prado, you can't even buy a bicycle. That is capitalism. But this one here is inclusivity. You bring everybody, the young, the old, the woman, the man, everybody in the equation. And then you talk about sustainability. Sustainability is very critical. That you are not only looking at today, but you are even catering for the future generation. And these are cooperatives.
Right.
You can imagine these cooperatives that started these unions that we had. Do you know they constructed schools? Talk about Bugisu and look at the schools. They constructed hospitals. And that is why this year we are celebrating but doing a lot of activities, because in cooperatives, the 7th principle for cooperatives that was developed in 1995 under Manchester Congress, it talks about community concern. Now, community concern means that for us as cooperatives, we are not looking at making profits, but rather our interest is socio-economic transformation, which is inclusive and sustainable. And for that matter, this year is very good, and it is very relevant that, like she has mentioned, the theme is driving inclusive and sustainable solutions for a better world. Are you listening to the theme? Everybody a better. Driving inclusive and sustainable solutions for a better world. That's why we are celebrating. And for that matter, we shall, one, have a national blood donation. And our target is collect over 1 million liters of blood to save lives.
Where shall the donation
It
be?
is going to be national,
right.
but the main launch shall take place in Kaliro, and it will be presided over by our Minister, Honorable Gume, who is the Minister of State for Cooperatives, together with the health camp.
Right.
Then we shall also have a health camp. Julie and others, you come for testing. Testing will be for free, and we shall even be, if possible, for these simple ailments, we shall provide some simple drugs. So because we care for the lives of our people. That's a cooperative.
Right.
Then we shall also have the national tree planting campaign, because who doesn't see that our environment has been destroyed? So we contribute a lot towards preserving and conserving the environment. Again, we shall have a symposium, a national symposium, where we're discussing critical issues. You know, we have been having challenges, Julie. When we started coming here on TV, people did not understand the value of cooperatives. And most of the economists whose mind have been corrupted by capitalism, whenever you would talk about cooperatives, they would think these are for poor, these are for the illiterate. They didn't know that actually we, the educated, belong to cooperatives. And then, eventually, you see the lawyers have a cooperative, the medics, the accountants, the engineers, the whole country now. So we shall have a symposium where we are discussing those national issues. Issues, for example, of access to finance. It's good now we have created a cooperative bank, but we are still engaging government. Government, look here. We want to appreciate our good government, our president. He has created a lot of funding for the common people, the Wananchi. Talk about the agricultural credit facility. It is there, but the money is lying in the commercial banks.
Right.
You go to Ministry of Gender, invite, grow, all these funds are there. So we are saying, in this context, how do we amalgamate all this money so that Julie, Ivan, can access this money for socio-economic transformation. Then, so we are having series of activities.
Right.
We also have exhibitions where these cooperatives will come and exhibit their products and services, and everything will be crowned up by the national celebrations. And I want to inform Ugandans, His Excellency the President will be the chief guest, and it will be held at Boma Ground in Fort Portal City. You know Fort Portal City.
Of course.
A tourism city, a cleanest city. We shall be there on the 5th of July. All Ugandans, you come and we celebrate all these achievements.
Right.
Yes.
Indeed. Thank you very much for that in-depth picture that you've painted in regards to how the International Day of Cooperatives is indeed significant to Uganda's economic and social development, as well as how it will be engaged into Uganda's way of celebration. Now, coming to you, Justine, what are the major challenges cooperatives in Uganda are facing, and what is being done to address them?
Thank you so much, Julie. Some of the challenges that cooperatives face, yes, one of the issues is the issue of finance, access to affordable finance. But as you heard, the General Secretary talked about the cooperative bank. Yesterday we had that engagement with cooperators, and they committed to the establishment of the National Cooperative Bank. So that can be one of the solutions. Yes, to that issue. The other challenge, which I can see, of course, in any institution, issues of governance can always be there. But as a solution to that, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, as one of our key roles, is capacity building. So we come in to engage the different cooperatives on how best to enhance their capacity, on how best to enhance their skills. So that is also one of the challenges that we could face in cooperatives. But as UCA, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, we come in. We have an issue of resource mobilization, mobilizing the cooperators. But what I know as UCA, we have some of our business development models. We use them, we engage them, the fact methodology. We teach, we engage the cooperators on how to come up with proposals, on how to, reach out, and how to also scale up membership growth. Because, of course, with cooperatives, it's about mobilizing the members to join the movement and see how best. We have issues of regulation, yes. The General Secretary talked about the symposium. Actually, the National Symposium is a platform for us as cooperators to talk about the issues that are affecting us. Among them, we have the issue of multiple regulations for SACCOs. You know, we are registering with Ministry of Trade under the Department of Cooperatives, regulation by UMRA. Then if your monies are too big, 1 billion plus, you have to go to Bank of Uganda to manage you. So we are saying, as cooperators, for us in cooperatives, we are one person. So we believe in that unit of, so we are saying, no, what we want is to have a single regulator. We should have a single law so that we have a one-stop center for all our issues as cooperatives when it comes to the legislation. So I think those are some, General Secretary, maybe you can add on some of the key issues.
Thank you so much. Just to make a rejoinder, and I want to thank her, she has really brought out very good ideas. Just to add on something about the legal framework, there is a very big challenge on the legal policy and regulatory framework for cooperatives. Now, in 2003, the central bank amended the MDI Act to allow the supervision of bigger circles whose portfolio is 500 million share capital and 1.5 billion voluntary savings. All of these bigger circles are supposed to be in the central bank. However, in defining what an MDI is, the definition says an MDI is a company. Whereas a cooperative is not a company. So there is now a lacuna to that context. Who comes in? Is it a company or it is a cooperative? That lacuna is created. Now, in 2016, government comes up with a new law, the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions Act and Money Lenders Act, which says all SACCOs come under Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority to be supervised and regulated, but you'll be registered by the Register of Cooperatives. 2020, the Cooperative Societies Act, CAP 112, is amended, giving birth to CAP 107, and it says all SACCOs, by the way, come back to the registrar. Now, meaning that, as she says, we now have what we call a legal quagmire. Quagmire in the sense that you have 3 laws and 3 regulators on the same context or subject matter.
So who should you follow?
Who should now follow? Who should be where? Why do you scatter these circles? Learn from Kenya.
Right.
Kenya has a single regulator called the Circle Regulatory Authority, SASA, where all circles come and they are regulated. And here we are saying, let's have a single regulator and a single law so that we harmonize everything. And fortunately, even the Attorney General and both Solicitor General have recommended that let's amend and harmonize the legal framework.
Right.
There is also a challenge of cooperative education. It's very critical. In this country, cooperative education started in 1954 at Nsamezi. 1963, that's when cooperatives were very strong. Government realized the need to have a cooperative college, and it was established at Bukarasa. But later, they removed it from Bukarasa and took it to Chigumba in 1974 to provide cooperative education. And then later, we have another college, which is Tororo Cooperative College. Now we have 2 cooperative colleges, but providing, from 1963, providing certificate and diplomas. And even in addition to that, if you went there, they are all dilapidated. No structures, old structures like that. So what we are saying as cooperators, can we learn from our neighbors? You don't need to go very far in Europe. Go to Kenya.
Right.
Kenya, they have the Cooperative University of Kenya. Tanzania, on the 5th of January 1963, they started Moshi Cooperative College. Now it is a fully fledged university teaching cooperatives from certificate to PhD. I've been there as a student. So you now see where we are. So we are saying, and why do we want education? Julie, it is important for people to know what they are in. You are leaders. Do you know that you can find a manager of a circle who cannot define a cooperative? And he's a manager. He's driving a very posh car, but cannot define a cooperative. Leadership. So, and previously in the 1960s, when cooperatives were very strong, it was a policy that for you to work in a cooperative, either as a cooperative officer or a manager or a leader, you must undergo a cooperative course in Chigumba. The way you see like us accountants.
Yes.
You cannot be an accountant unless you have CPA or ACCA and you're a member of the institute. You cannot be you cannot be a lawyer of High Court unless you go to LDC.
LDC, yes.
So why not these cooperators?
Yes.
So this is a challenge we have. We have so many cooperators outside there, but there is information asymmetry, which must be closed using the cooperative model and cooperative education. Then we also have a challenge of access to market. We may be having markets, but are these markets reliable? Are they favorable to the farmers? Whom are they favoring? Do you know that most of the farmers just take like bananas? Do you know that they're exporting, Uganda is exporting bananas, and they are getting a lot of money? But the farmers are not aware.
Is not, yes.
You get me? So how do we now remove that gap so that the farmer can directly go to the market and make more money? You remember the other day when I was here with my friend Julius Mukunda, and we were talking about the milk.
Yes.
Someone at the garden now, a farmer is paid 500 shillings per liter. But you go to a supermarket today and see how much is a liter of milk in my own milk.
And in fact, you talk about milk, and you remind me that I did address it here on air just a while back. But yesterday there was a conversation with CS Bag and business players. And in there they talked about the challenge of Ugandans exporting cassava and it being in Dubai supermarkets with its soil. That is very misrepresenting of Uganda. Yet I believe as UCA, the cooperative model is embraced, issues of quality
Very much.
And packaging can be dealt with.
Very much, like it is in other countries. You go to South Korea.
Yes.
South Korea, cooperatives are controlling the entire value chains up to supermarket.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
the
indeed.
largest supermarket in South Korea, in the city called Seoul, is owned by cooperatives. The National Agriculture Cooperative Federation of Korea has over 37 companies, and most of them are industries owned by farmers. So if you grow, for example, carrots, as a farmer, you don't need to sell to a middleman. You just get your carrots as smallholder farmers, take them to your society, society aggregates at the union, they process through the factory, and your same carrots go as pure carrots quality. And they go to the supermarket. So the money, all the money goes to the farmer.
Yes, Justine.
Okay, maybe on that note of value addition, as we celebrate International Day of Cooperatives, we are emphasizing value addition. In fact, during the celebrations, Toro Dairy is even launching a plant, one of their big milk processing facilities, which was donated by machines donated by government. But General Secretary, on issues of business, as Uganda Cooperative Alliance, we also organize business-to-business meetings. We were in Gulu some time back. That was around 10th April. And, you know, we realized, and tomorrow we are going. Yes, we realized that these people have all the resources, the infrastructure is there, they have the land, but we realized that there's a problem. We talked about market linkages. So UCA is like, how do we help? So tomorrow, even having a business-to-business meeting in Gulu, because we see our cooperators have the resources, they even have the capacity, but you're like, what's the problem? So as you see, we're also coming up with that model. Let's have, I mean, if it's about linking them to markets, let's organize this meeting. We have such a meeting in Gulu tomorrow, where we are having cooperators from Lango, Acholi, and West Nile, plus the different stakeholders, different players who can help them out in addressing some of the challenges.
But moderator, have you critically analyzed the theme for this year's budget? Which is about commercialized agriculture, it is about digital transformation, it is industrialization, it is broadening social services, and lastly it is market access. I remember it. And it is directly aligned to NDP4 and directly aligned to SDGs and Vision 2040. I want to tell you and Ugandans, the solution to this is the cooperative model. Because this is ideally what cooperatives do. People come together, produce together, extension services are accessed together, and then they produce, they ensure quality and quantity, they add value, they export, they create everything. So, you know, Ugandans, we know the solution. But I don't know why we are not taking it.
We just need the push for it.
You are patient. You are patient. You know the medicine to cure you, but you are still looking otherwise.
But like we discussed with CS Bag last time that there are those people who seem to be benefiting from capitalism and are choking. But let me come to you, Justine. What role do you think women and the youth play in Uganda's cooperative society today, especially in light of celebrating International Cooperatives Day?
Yeah. When we get back to our theme, the element of inclusivity and sustainability.
Sustainable solutions, yes.
Yes, so when we talk about, actually wanted as one of our topics during the symposium, we want to see how women, the inclusivity, we want to see how women and youth, why youth? Because we want continuity. Yes. And the youth come in with new ideas. We are telling our cooperators that, look, yes, we are adding value and our product, but gone are the days when the marketplace was this place you walk to. These days, we have gone digital. We've gone digital, people, digital sales, digital marketing. So we are encouraging that cooperators, there's that some challenge of the founder membership, that founder syndrome. We want to drive that out, and we are saying, please, cooperators, let's open up. Let's have the youth get on board. They will come in with new skills, new ideas, and they will help enrich the cooperatives by adding value, especially on the digital element of it. Women, yes. The SDG 5 is about gender inclusivity. We are saying yes, and even the country, of course, celebrates women, and we're saying no, right? Look, for us as cooperatives, we don't segregate. We are all we embrace everyone, but we are saying we also want to see that the women participation of women and the youth go up. As you see, in our strategic plan, it's one of our key pillars, women and youth. And this came in especially when we carried out a capacity needs assessment in 2023. Uganda Cooperative did that study. And we saw that the participation of women and youth was not to the desirable percentage that we needed. So it's upon this time that now we scale up. The Secretary talked about the GROW project. We are looking out, because as for me, as head of partnerships, we look out for the partners who can support us. We look out, because also we are partners with government, for those opportunities. So as Uganda Cooperative Alliance, in the way of empowering the youth and women, we even work hand in hand with different stakeholders, even government, to look out for those projects. And I thank government so much, because when you look through the budget, we have that money to PDM, to EMIOGA, and the GROW project. So that brings in the inclusivity element. And we are calling upon cooperatives out there, the cooperators, that even as we position ourselves for leadership in the cooperatives, as we elect the leadership, women and the youth must be part of the leadership for continuity and for inclusivity, to speak to the theme of the year, but also to see that our cooperative movement grows inclusively.
And if you speak of continuity, women are the mothers. That means if they embrace cooperative, the cooperative's culture, they are able to instill it as a culture in their children, which emphasizes continuity. Coming to UCPA, how is UCA embracing digital transformation?
Oh, very good.
to empower cooperatives across the country.
You know, Julie, before I come to that, you asked her a very important question. But I wanted to ask you, why are you not talking about men? Even as men, we need
men in the special interest groups.
Yes, we are also there now.
Because men, in a way, are already...
now we are marginalized as men.
Really? Did you vote for special interest groups?
You should also talk about men inclusivity.
It looks like men are already sorted. So we are finding ways of supporting women who deal with mothering, having to go away from active employment. In a way, a woman has to be empowered because she has breaks in between due to her nature, which is not for a man. A man can continue anyways.
I accept. We'll hear from the viewers.
Surely, indeed. But let's look at the fact of embracing digital transformation to empower cooperatives across the country.
Very much. Do you know that most of the circles now are on digital platforms? Yes. You know, for us, when we started in circles, I started in 2003, 15th of March, Saturday, 8 a.m. I was in office.
You are that detailed.
Yes, I'm detailed. That's when I entered the circle as a cashier. During that time, it was purely manual. There was nothing. We had never even seen a computer. Everything was manual, from the ledger cards, savings ledger cards, share capital, loan ledger cards, controls, and we are using these typing calculators. And you would come back like you have a difference. For example, someone who comes to deposit 5,000, and you make an error and you write 500 manually, then you'd have a difference of 4,500. You would look for it for a whole week. and you can't find it.
Right.
But these days, everything is computerized. Circles are having computers all over. To the extent now that, Julie, as you are seated here, you can deposit money in a circle. You can even transact in any way, whether to deposit or to withdraw. That one was not there. So this is why cooperatives are really, real vessels, even in the implementation of this budget, because the budget talks about digital transformation. And how do you take it down to the common person? These are the circles which are already there. They are doing all their transactions. Now in the circles, in these bigger circles, there's no paperwork. You just enter there, everything is purely digital.
Right.
Then you come to these cooperative unions, like Ankole Coffee, they are purely digital now. They even get market prices. I didn't know. You go there and the manager tells you, now just in the last 30 minutes, the price has increased by 30 shillings.
Right.
And they are seeing everything on the system. I didn't know. But previously, you'd have to call someone. Nyakatonzi, how much is the coffee? You find Nyakatonzi is not even awake. Then you call Bugisu, how much is the coffee? Like that. As you are calling, the middlemen are taking advantage.
Yes.
But now, systems are digitalized. You can check the prices, you can check the market, you can check even the weather and everything.
Yes.
So, and the beauty is that the transformation has gone to the lowest person, which was never there before.
Right.
The other day I was in the village and my mother has a phone, and she was showing me even the balance she has on her account. Said, oh, how do you know it? She knows how to press the buttons, and she sees the balance. So, but previously, you would have to wait. When they open the circle, you go there. I want to see my ledger. You'd even find the ledger has been destroyed by rats. You know the rats.
Yes, indeed.
And you could not even find the figure.
Right.
But now everything is digitalized. They are working with MTN and Airtel. They can now transfer money from here to here, like that, which was never there before.
Yes,
so
indeed.
I am very happy that we are now in the digital era. Then you talk of communication. Do you know, like as I'm here, cooperators are sending messages. Everybody is telling me I'm watching. Ivory, do this, add this one. That is digital transformation. So I want really to tell you with comfort that cooperatives have reached that level and they are contributing a lot towards digital transformation in the country. Yes.
Indeed. And let's look at, and I'm posing this to you, Justin.
Yes, yes.
What do you have as a vision for cooperatives in, say, 5 to 10 years from now?
For cooperatives, one of our key focus areas is we want to see the movement grow, not only in numbers, the cooperative movement that I'm talking about, not only numbers, but also in value addition. We are promoting value addition. That is our major focus. We want to see these cooperatives elevate their production, their different enterprises to that level whereby we shall grow and we shall see them even own most of the enterprises in the economy. Want them to lead, to take lead. If it's in the health, because cooperatives are in different sectors of the economy. If it's health, we want to see the health cooperatives take lead in that sector. If it's agriculture, we want to see value addition in agriculture. We want to see them export bigger volumes and in turn contribute much to the country's taxes, the taxation, yes, so to the GDP of the country. We want to see that the contribution of cooperatives really is scaled up to higher levels. I think that's our long-term.
Yes, so in a summary, just to make a rejoinder, if I'm to summarize it all, the cooperative shall be the driver of inclusive and sustainable socio-economic transformation of Uganda.
Right.
Yes.
Profound. Yeah. Very interesting. And one that is encouraging. Indeed, lots of ideas that are actually coming through my head just from this particular conversation. But coming to you, CPA, and indeed, as we begin to bring this to a close, how has the UCA helped cooperative societies in Uganda navigate the modern economic development?
Number one is capacity building. We have really done that. And that's why I really want to appreciate UBC.
Right.
We are now doing exactly what we are supposed to be doing. Because we are now giving information to cooperators. We are building their capacities. People, maybe whenever we get this feedback, people are saying, thank you so much for building our capacities. I didn't know this, I didn't know this. So we have done that fantastically through the media, through these other workshops and whichever forums.
Right.
Number two, we have engaged government. And I want to appreciate the government under the leadership of our president, that it's a listening government. They have listened to us. They have supported us. You can imagine how much money is going under PDM. 1.1 trillion per year, 100 million per parish. However much there may be some challenges of implementation, but the fact remains that the government is supporting our people using the cooperative model. Look at Emyoga. Look at all these programs that are there. So we have engaged them because it is the responsibility of UCA under Section 33 of the Cooperative Societies Act, Cap 107, that the Board of Uganda Cooperative Alliance shall engage government on matters of policy relating to cooperative societies. I'm reading it verbatim. Now, based on that, we have engaged the government. We engaged the government on taxes, and they listened. In 2015, 30th of December, His Excellency the President granted SACCOs a tax waiver, which was a very big achievement because SACCOs were struggling. We engaged him, and he listened to us. In 2017, still we engaged the Parliament together with UKUSCO and other unions, and the Parliament gave SACCOs a 10-year tax exemption. From 2017 up to 2027, SACCOs are not paying taxes to government. Why? Because they are vessels for socio-economic transformation, and the government gave them time to grow so that they can deliver better services. That is a very big achievement on the side of UCA. We have also done conflict resolution, which is arbitration. This is Section 142 of Cooperative Societies Act, Cap 107, that require that in the case of disputes, then Uganda Cooperative Alliance comes in. Subsection 5 of the same law says, in the event that the two parties fail to get an arbitrator, on request of the other party, the General Secretary, myself, of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, shall appoint an arbitrator. There is even a precedence, there is a ruling in Mbarara 2012 by Honorable Justice Andrew Bashija, where he says in case there is a dispute in any cooperative society, the matter shall not be taken to High Court or Magistrates Court before it goes through arbitration. We have done that fantastically. We have also done the issue of resource mobilization. As we speak today, we are implementing many programs, including government programs. We have just of recent launched a new project that is targeting over 260,000 smallholder farmers and will be implemented in five regions: Rwenzori, Eregon, Kigezi, Busoga, and Lango. So that's a very big project. Through government support under subvention, and we want to appreciate the government. Government supported us with subvention for cooperative development work. We have done a lot of work outside. We have engaged the cooperators. Even yesterday you saw us there. And then we have also supported Ugandans to have their cooperative bank.
Yes, indeed.
Which was born yesterday.
Indeed.
We have a baby now.
Indeed.
We are just waiting to go and baptize the baby through registration.
And indeed,
that's what we are doing. So there is a lot. If I'm talk about what we have done, Julie, we can't. But I want to appreciate you. Kindly take our regards. On behalf of the cooperators who are viewing, I want to take our regards to the board and management of UBC. And I have also asked the Almighty God, every morning I pray for you people, UBC. Let God give you all the blessings because you have supported us.
And to him all goes the glory. Justine, just tell us more about the celebration of the International Day of Cooperatives, which will happen on the 5th of July. And this is our closing remark.
Thank you so much, Julie. As we close, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, with the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives, we call upon all cooperators in the country that on 5th July, we are in Fort Portal Tourism City. Please, this is a platform we have. When you talk about issues of linkage to markets, to partners, this is a platform that you, dear cooperator, has to showcase to the world what we are doing and what we can do. This is a day to celebrate our achievements as a movement. So we call upon cooperators all over the country to come to Fort Portal Tourism City. The exhibition starts on 3rd July to 5th. We shall be running throughout those days. So we call upon them to come, and you know, we have the principle of cooperation among cooperatives, principle number 6. Let's come together, let's celebrate together our achievements. And I'll thank the National Organizing Committee. We even have a meeting after this. Thank you so much for the resource mobilization. Thank you so much. We thank our partners. You're too many. I'll not mention all of you. Stanbic Bank, CIC, the Microfinance, please, Uganda Parliamentary Circle. Thank you all cooperators who are contributing towards making this day a success. And of course, we are grateful to government for the support too through subvention and for all the coordination. So please, let's keep the cooperative spirit burning. Let's keep it high as we celebrate our International Year of Cooperatives.
Yes, indeed. And after 24 years of having no bank, it's now time that the National Financial Cooperative Society, that is the bank of the cooperatives, starts to operate and add value on value on value to the cooperatives culture in Uganda. That's it from us today in the agenda. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV, always here to inspire you. And that's it for Good Morning Uganda, today's edition, but we'll be back tomorrow, same time in the morning from 6:30 a.m. My name is Julie Nantaba Musisi. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know. You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability.